Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba Ki Jai.
Okay, so we will allow everyone to come up, or anyone to come up. All right, so it's just like we're all in a room together. Let's see how that functions. Mm. Come up, my dear. Don't need to raise hands. We don't hear you. You should be able to unmute yourself. No? Okay, keep trying. The next one can come. Okay. Bhakti, you can come. Are you not able to unmute yourselves? Okay, let me see. Okay, okay. Try now. Sarunas can try.
Oh, now it's okay.
Yes, thank you. Can we keep this here?
There were so many thoughts, you know. What to say, what to say. And there has been a lot of avoidance, actually. I watched your satsangs, previous satsangs, and you were saying like, who is willing to jump fully, and not to take only half of medicine, but to take full medicine.
Yes. Yes. So what is the instruction? The instruction to jump only implies that when you're fully empty, your absence is God's presence. Your absence is God's presence, and you cannot keep a bit of yourself over there just to check. Is this working? Is God coming? Is this? Am I doing this right? You see, it has to be a complete absence, because you cannot have a glass full of lemon juice and try to make milkshake. Where that came from, I'm not even hungry, but so, and you can't say even a little bit will be a useful ingredient for the milkshake, no? Unless, correct me if I'm wrong. So, unless the cup is fully empty, unless the glass is fully empty, we cannot expect God to use this instrument, to use this life. And we cannot say that we are living in servitude to God. So firstly, it's important to remember that all of this that we are doing, all of satsang, is so that we can achieve a servitude to God. We can become worthy servants to God and not something special for ourselves, or even free or enlightened or something peaceful or loving or joyful. None of that. You see? So our life, whatever we take our life to be, and that includes our body, our perceptions, our world, everything that we take to be ours, that has to become operative under God's will. That is the switch over from my way to God's way, from living on my terms to God's terms. So no matter how hard we think about it, what intellectual concepts we use, we may come up with the best arguments. But the point is that God's presence is palpable only in our absence. It is impossible for us to live in God, to live in God's light, and still be present as a me. Is it? So then the question is, what is it that you want?
Nothing.
Okay. If you truly want nothing, if you truly want, then how can you resist? Because you don't want to be peaceful.
The thing is that I think that resistance came not from me.
It came out.
It just it's like a flashbacks came, let's say,
Yes.
if we can say, into the field.
Yeah.
That all this traveling and all the things,
Yes.
it was a kind of avoidance, and
Yes. So who is tracking all this avoidance, resistance, lack of it, coming out, not coming out? And who's bothered with all of this? Is there an aspect of yourself that wants to be free?
I think yes, yeah.
Yes. So
There
we
always
must lose
been
that. Must lose that also. Because you said you wanted nothing. Remember, just now we said we wanted nothing. If you wanted nothing, then to want freedom is to want a very big thing. You see, how many people do you know that have got freedom? You see, how many people do you know that have got freedom? Very few. So when we say, I want nothing, and then in the next breath we say, I want freedom, it is going from wanting nothing to wanting something which is very, very rare. And what makes us so special that we should have freedom? What makes us so special that we should have freedom, even that God should reveal himself to us, any of our spiritual desire? What makes us so great? Nothing does. You see? So all we can do is to be empty. And if it is grace, then whatever has to unfold by God's grace can unfold. But when we have an expectation or an outcome, only then can we have things like resistance. If you're not trying to go anywhere, can there be resistance along your path? You're just sitting. Huh? You're just sitting. And then you say there's a lot of blocks, roadblocks in the way. But you're not going anywhere. You see? So are you happy not to go anywhere? Not to get to anything? Be fully empty of all desire, all will.
Fully satisfied.
Yes or no, I mean, doesn't matter. Because even that can become an outcome. So if you say, I want to be fully satisfied, then something will come and say, no, I'm not still fully satisfied, because the mind says, what about relationship? What about something? Leave all that. What makes us so special that we should be fully satisfied? How many fully satisfied people do we know? You see, so some of you have met over the years, and you can get caught up in this sort of spiritual conditioning, and the checker guy which keeps saying, okay, this is happening to me now, and this is being revealed, and this is being stopped, and this is avoiding, and this is resisting. Nobody cares. I don't mean to sound harsh, my dear. I'm just saying that you have to stop caring. You have to stop caring about these things. They're completely unimportant. If it is true that all you want to do is to be empty, and that you really can't do, it's a non-doing doing, you see, to remain empty, it's a no path, then if it is true, then all of this is unimportant, because it is just showing up. You see? It is only just showing up. Now, what are you going to do with your time? You'll have too much time now on your hands. If you don't track what is happening to you, where it is, what is causing this resistance and avoidance, and how come you are not free or satisfied. Mhm. We're all in
Maybe.
spirituality, but all of us live as if God is not real, actually. I want to say this to all of us. Mhm. I want to say this to all of us, that we all in spirituality, but we all don't live as if God is a reality. So, and therefore then God and religion or spirituality becomes a belief system and not a true matter of faith. You see? Now, what is the difference between belief and faith? Belief is a notion that we pick up. so that we can use it to feel better or to become special or to become somebody. Faith is to give up everything for the insight that we have in our heart. You see, it's a huge difference, although it sounds similar. You see, belief is something that we use. Oh, I believe in God, I believe in my master, so that it helps you. You feel it helps you. Faith is that which allows you to sacrifice your head at God's altar, because you're willing to take the risk of giving up on everything inwardly. And I'm talking about the inner renunciation, the inner sacrifice, because you have had an insight into God's reality in your own heart, or even that which is aware of God's presence in your heart. Is this true for all of us or no? You see? So how
Yes.
much faith do we have in that insight that that is really God? And if God is really living within ourselves, then is this how we would live? With so much concern and so much fear and so much tracking of what's happening to us? Or have we made God into another sensation or perception? What have we actually discovered? That is the key question, right? Have we come to just a beautiful room in a house which makes us feel peaceful? Or have we really found God? You see, and many of us, of course, claim that we have found that which is beyond even this manifest aspect of God, the unmanifest aspect, the Nirguna Brahman itself. You see? Now, if that is the discovery, do you have faith in your own discovery? You see, and if we have faith in our own discovery, how is it that so many of us are just running around like headless chickens, worrying about sensations and perceptions? Who have we found? That is the question. Who have we found? Another child was asking me the other day that when we refer to God, how is it that, like in some traditions, God is called a personal God, and what is your feeling behind that? So I said that many times we may come to a conclusion that the absolute or awareness or even beingness is just like a force of nature, like gravity. You see? Just like we've discovered this force within us, but we cannot relate to it, we cannot bow our head down to it, we cannot pray to it, we cannot be in service to it or devoted to it. It is just not true. You see? That does not mean that you're discovering something personal as we define it to be personal, that means individual, but it is not a force of nature like gravity or electricity or magnetism. God is the supreme intelligence from which all the functioning of this universe sprouts out of. And therefore we can trust that when we bow down and we pray to God, or when we long in our heart for God, our prayer is being heard. We don't need to do this by ourselves. We don't need to check on our progress. We don't need to push ourselves along the spiritual ladder. We don't need to fix our energies. We don't need to fix any of this. Otherwise, our discovery would be a complete lie. Have we found God or no? Is it? That is the question. Have we found God or no? And if we have found God, then what are we doing? It's like we found the fastest escalator in the world and we're still trying to run. Or we have not found God's presence, or we don't have faith that this is God's presence. You see? You see? And how to come to God's presence is to be empty to yourself, die to yourself inwardly. Everything else is just a way to get there. Self-inquiry, our surrender, our prayer, our devotional singing, our yogic practices, everything is a way to come to an emptiness so that God's presence can be palpably discovered, recognized. And you recognize that in the palpable vibration of God's light, there is an unbounded being which is recognized beyond perception. All that is needed is your emptiness. And can you start a moment not being empty? Start a moment being full of something. Be full now. Now. At one moment. So God is already given us, already empty. Now it is completely our prerogative where we go. It is our prerogative to operate as a limited me or to be empty. That is the only prerogative that we have. To take up the false me using whatever pretext, it may sound very true and humble, and the narrative may have hooks of a true story, but none of it is real. Only God's light is reality. And this is moment to moment. Moment to moment. You see? So we have to stop being somebody, anybody, including a spiritual somebody. And that is naturally what you are, a nobody. Naturally a nobody. And that is not bad news. To the ego, it sounds like an insult. But actually, it is the greatest gift because you are no body. The master's only attempt is to help you come to your nobody-ness.
Maybe it's
Hmm?
just by the habit. Maybe it's just by the habit that
Yeah.
I identified with all those things. You know.
Yeah. This habit, and Satsang is the de-addiction for that habit. No? Don't have anything that you want to do for yourself. Don't want anything for yourself. Don't Do anything for yourself. Be empty. And then life will show you, God will show you how you can serve. And in fact, that service will happen, unfold on its own through you, through your life. And if one day you have to be guided in some particular way, then your heart will also guide you to do that. You see? So we can talk about the highest intuitive insight. You see, the highest intuitive insight. But if there is somebody there to claim it, it will just become a conversation. So our nobody-ness is the fertile ground in which the recognition can happen. And the recognition is the easy part. It is the nobody-ness which is the seemingly difficult part. You see? Because many of you have grasped at the recognition also to make you a somebody. You have grasped at the recognition that now that I have it, now I should be special. So the question about what do you really want is really helpful. It's really useful. Okay, I feel like we don't have to go in a linear fashion. We can just keep it spontaneous in some sense that whoever feels like something is coming up for them to say, they should be able to unmute their mics and come up and share.
Thank you.
So it's more of a group conversation rather than a linear discussion.
May I come up, Father?
Yes, just come, just come.
I really feel like I need to talk to you
Yes.
because
Okay,
I've been
you felt like you wanted to talk to me now. Here we are.
yes.
Now.
Is that one time I told you that my father was okay, and I just couldn't talk about that at that time. I don't think he's okay, and I just wanted you to put him in your heart.
Yes. Who? Can you repeat this part? Somebody is not well?
My
That's
father,
all.
my father.
I see. I see.
I feel like he's like really deteriorating,
I
and
see.
there is like, I don't want to talk, without knowing, but it seems like it's like he has mistreated himself, the way his father mistreated him
I see.
physically, and now it's like going down. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just like want to put it that you put him in your heart, because thank you, Father. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Love you. Thank you.
Hi, Father.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you so much. I felt to come and put this one here, and just ask for blessings or anything, any ignorance that is not being seen. Yes, just asking for help or anything that may need your guidance.
Very good, very good, Acharya. So, if I was to ask you the same question, what do you really want? What would your answer be?
It's very, very auspicious that you ask me this. And I really, I hear you when you say, if you want nothing, then also you have to renounce this one that wants to be free.
Yeah.
And actually, some days ago, I spoke with Muji, and the first thing I said is, I want nothing.
Ah. Why do you want nothing?
Yes.
Why do you want nothing?
Mm. 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 Yes. I don't know.
You want something after you have nothing?
No.
Like you want to be free, you want to be enlightened, you want to share satsang, you want to... Why do you want nothing?
I see those things come up like, but it's only thoughts. Like this one, I want to be free, happy, not suffer.
Yeah. Yes, you're saying that none of them are attractive,
Something
or
is, yeah.
you don't believe any of them?
I see there is like some openness and surrendering that comes very naturally. Like this is it, and something like is very tired of the same thing over and over and suffering all over again. But it's not even the suffering that is like, because something was really attracted to suffering also. It's like something really like, it's not even me choosing it, not even someone. And something is saying yes. Yes.
Okay. So let's presume that mostly you're quite empty and you don't want, you're not grasping at things, you're not afflicted with desire. Now, as you are empty in this way, have you found God?
Mm. It's here, no? Even if the mind is with everything,
Yes.
it's still here.
Yeah. 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 And this it that is here, who is it? What is it?
Has no name. Just
But because it has no name, or we can say that every name is its alone, does it mean that it is like electricity or gravity, just a force sitting there? Or is there an existent being which is limitless within yourself?
Mm. Yes. I see the mind like fighting against whatever.
Its whole job, its entire job description, fight this. Is to fight. It's designed for this. Who is this existent, unlimited presence being within ourselves? Who is that? Is there such a being? Is there or no? Is there? Am I like, see, yes. No. I don't want to prod the answer. Is it? So there are
Yeah.
only two possibilities. The first possibility is that we have not found it. We have not found this. We have been truly, sincerely seeking, but we have not come to this. Is it? So everything now in our life should be devoted to coming to this discovery before death comes, because death is coming. So before death comes, this discovery should happen. How to devote everything in our life to this? It is very difficult. It's very difficult. You see, it is difficult because without the discovery of God, you have to have that much trust and faith in your master's words that you're willing to risk everything, all your desires, all the events you want in your life, all the outcomes, just because you trust your master so much. You have that much faith in your master. You should be willing to inwardly become empty so that you can come into the darshan of the unlimited being within yourself. And once you have had the darshan of the unlimited being within yourself, then it is a little easier because you can dedicate your life to the faith that you have in your own insight, your own darshan. But many times, because the temptations of the mind can even be very strong, even then, it doesn't seem like a cakewalk, even then. So, if anybody comes to spirituality expecting an easy life, then they can forget about it. It's not an easy life. When we accept that the mind will resist with all of its might, and even the Buddha said that one may overcome 1,000 armies, but even more difficult is to overcome one's own mind. You see? So we must not expect life of ease as we are spiritual. That is just a sort of a new agey type notion about spirituality. So if it comes, it is God's grace and it is very welcome. But if things are difficult, then things are difficult. That's all right. That's the test of our faith. Because there is no point having faith unless we are willing to risk all difficulty. So as the light of presence is getting apparent for you, you must now dedicate everything in your life to it. Everything must be in service to God. Must be fully empty of self-will, self-desire, anything that you want for yourself. That is how God will take you in God's service. And that is the true spirituality.
Hi, can I have a small request for being here?
Yeah.
That's been like causing a lot of things that are not true. But sometimes I see that something goes into like the story, and it's aware of something got into that story or that illusion, and because of ignorance, the pointing that is so simple is like so difficult in that moment. And something is like trying to like stay as awareness, but it's like too strong, the ignorance in that moment, and something is like fighting against that ignorance. And I just pray, I just stop fighting stop fighting, and as you said, like want nothing.
Yes. Very good. Very good. My blessings are with you. Also, I want to tell you that as you want nothing, when you come to the point where you truly want nothing, then the mind will find it very difficult to tempt you, into ignorance. The mind's whole design is to pull you out of God's light. You see, God's light is natural to you. It's natural. Right now, it's natural, isn't it? Just as you're empty. And if you can go even a step further, just in a manner of speaking, you realize that even beyond that primordial vibration, you are aware that you are aware. Without any effort, without having to even do anything with your attention, although naturally it may tend to get withdrawn. You see? Now, how to get into ignorance from here? What is the way to get into ignorance? Suppose you were trying to get into ignorance now, instead of trying to avoid it. How would you do it?
To think.
Right. Exactly.
That
So the
I'm
thought should
something.
but just the arising of the thought, I am something, or I want this, I need this is good, this is bad, whatever the thought may be, in its arising, have we lost self-recognition?
No.
This is very important to see that in the arising of the thought, in the mere arising of it, it is not just perception still. Yeah. Did I ask in the broadcast the other day? Did I ask whether, do you feel awareness is the same as perception?
Yes,
How many
Father.
feel that
Yes.
awareness and perception are the same thing? Feel like that? Actually, the way I framed it, it's impossible to say yes now. So should have framed the question differently. But if awareness is not perception, or not just perception, then what is there to awareness which is beyond perception? And please don't make this an academic question. Although it sounds very academic and philosophical, it is not at all. So either we take awareness to be perception, which means sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, imagination, memory, thoughts, emotions, all these perceptions, you see? Or we recognize that awareness is beyond perception. So I want to ask all of you, what is that awareness, what is there to awareness which is beyond perception?
Presence.
Yes, the primordial vibration of presence, let's include that. You see? Let's include that, not the unperceivable nature of unlimited being. Shall we start there? Maybe we can start there. So life keeps reminding me to go really slowly because I go very fast on this stuff. So let's go really slowly. How many of you experience your presence? Physical hand, experience the presence. Anyone who doesn't experience the presence? Okay, you can just start speaking, whoever feels like they don't know what I'm saying. So you can experience the presence. How is it experienced? Anyone wants to volunteer and share?
Yes, dear Father.
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. How do you experience the presence?
Peace. There
Peace?
is the peace.
Peace. No, but presence itself. Just the presence itself, not peace, love, joy, which is very good, very natural for you to experience in the presence. But the presence itself, how do you experience?
As a pulsation.
There is a
Like
okay,
a
Father,
vibration.
I don't understand what you mean by presence. If you mean something perceivable or you mean Nirguna Brahman,
this is what I'm going to
the word.
unravel for you. Is your being perceivable or is it unperceivable? And I know that I've answered this for at least 10 years now, but let's really look at it together today so nobody is left with any confusion about this. So you can experience the presence of your being, isn't it? The presence of your being. In what way
Yes.
is that presence experienced?
Like a vibration.
There's like a vibration. Okay. Now,
As
what
an
kind of
openness,
vibration?
An openness, as a, it just feels more open, broader, just
Vast.
yes,
Like
it's open,
vast.
vast, empty.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Like a constant.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like a constant reverb which is there. When attention goes out in tasks and in the daily humdrum, it's still there, but then it's not perceivable. But when attention comes back and rests in the when there is nothing and the mind is not occupied with anything, it's there and it's there, which it's constantly there and it doesn't change no matter what.
Very good. So we'll come to that point about what happens in activities in a moment. For now, we're just trying to see if everybody's on the same page about the primordial vibration of the presence of God.
Father.
Anyone unclear about this?
Yeah. I see everything, the mind, this, I thought that I believe that it's me or something. So everything is perceived, but I am really nothing. I don't know what do you mean by the presence of God?
Yes.
In the realm of perceivable,
yes.
I feel
Very
that
good.
I nothing, not even openness or
Yes.
anything at all, nothing at all.
Yes. You feel or you think?
I am.
Huh?
I mean, I feel the life, the body, the thoughts, the sensation, everything. I can experience everything, but I'm really nothing at all. Even if there is this I thought that comes and say, oh my God, I feel like this. This is seeing, that is just thoughts and sensations like illusion that comes, appear and go.
Wait. Let's wait. So what is the difference between I and I am?
The difference in the am?
What is the difference between I, when we say I am nothing? You see? I'm nothing. Versus I am here. Is there any sort of difference? When I ask you, can you stop being? And are you aware? Is the other question pointing in two different ways or the same way?
Same.
Same. You try to stop being. What do you notice?
I don't know the question, Father.
Okay, just try to follow. Don't worry. Don't have to come up with the right answer very fast. Just try to follow as you listen. So the first question is, can you stop being? Can you not be?
No.
What is noticed for us to confirm that I am?
May I say, I cannot notice my presence as far as a perception. I know, but even in deep sleep, something is constant, and this is unknowable, but I know it.
Yeah.
And
so
and I know also that I perceive, think, I'm distracted, and I go through all states, and it may seem like a deduction that I conclude that I exist because I perceive, I think, I deep sleep, I do everything, but actually there is a knowingness of this presence, and I cannot say it is a perception, because perception happen in it, and non-perception also happen in it, if I may say so.
Yes. Okay, so let's go really slowly and really short answers, so that everybody is together in this discovery. Okay, so what shows us that we are awake right now? Is it just that we are able to perceive sight, sound, taste, touch, smell?
No.
How do you know that you're awake and not asleep? If all sight vanished, sound vanished, taste vanished, touch vanished, smell vanished, would you say you are asleep?
No.
So how do you know that you're not asleep? Anyone here also?
Is the knowing that I exist.
There's a knowing that I exist.
Something.
What kind of knowing is it?
There's a here, Father.
Something feels life.
Life. Okay. So if I said to you, all you have to do is, like many masters have said, all we have to do, for example, if I was to say, is to stay with the sense of I amness, or the sense of being. Would you say that that is impossible? And if it is impossible, then why would Somebody as great as Nisargadatta Maharaj say. And what would stay then mean? Okay, I'm going to mute everyone. Should I mute everyone?
Yes.
Okay, we mute everyone, and then people used to speak and then come back up. You can unmute yourselves. If you're really coming to share an answer from your heart, but absorb the question first. The question is that if there is nothing to hold on to as far as being is concerned, then the master's instruction to try and stay with the sense of being, although I don't usually give that instructions, many great masters have given it, and it is a beautiful instruction, then what could they be pointing to? And what would the method of staying be? Yes. So
for me,
okay, let's go to you first, Adrian.
wanted to, for me, to stay in the presence would be to not identify with thoughts, to let go of the hypnosis of the thoughts.
Yes. But in that case, what happens is, as you let go of the hypnosis of the thoughts, you're just staying with the presence and the absolute. Everything is apparent to you, isn't it? It's not just staying with the presence. You might as well say you're staying with the absolute as well. And that is beautiful. Yeah. That is what open and empty is. But when an instruction is given specifically, somebody especially says that they are very distracted or they're too enamored by the world, then a master may tell them, just try and stay with the presence of your being. Stay with the sense I am. What is that instruction then?
Father, the presence of being is the Nirguna Brahman.
Is?
Nirguna Brahman, formless awareness. The presence of being. When you say
no, presence of being is beyond the Nirguna Brahman is even beyond the presence of being. It is beyond being, not being. So we're coming to that point, but first I want to today make sure that everybody is coming along with me in this insight, and we are not just proposing things. So the first element is what I've called the tip of the iceberg. You see, that which I've called the primordial vibration. We've called it Om. We've called it I amness. We've called it the light in which this whole universe is born. Is that a theoretical construct or is it palpable?
I think it feels for me this pointing which is given is the way to grasp the ungraspable, because the effort to stay in the I am and perceive the I am is kind of answering your first question, because we cannot perceive it, yet it can be witnessed somehow.
Yes. The beautiful. If most of you may remember, and I hope you remember, that many times I call the being on the cusp of the unmanifest and the manifest. You see, I say it is on the cusp of the unmanifest and the manifest. And sometimes I call the palpable part of the being the tip of the iceberg, like the primordial vibration, you see, which in some sense can be tasted, but you cannot really say it has a color, it has a taste, it has a size, it has a quality, and yet just, you see, just the that's why primordial vibration. Before all the qualities have taken birth. Just the primal sensation itself, which is I woke up. When we experience
Yes,
this primal vibration, we say, I woke up. We may not experience a sensation of the body. We may not experience a perception in the world. We may not say the words, I woke up, but we recognize the wakefulness because of the presence of this.
yes. May I just put something this in this place? I want to. I many times I have the feeling on this point that I compare it with the sense of balance, because we know the movement and we are not conscious that the movement is possible because we have the sense of balance. And when we stop moving, we stop we almost stop living, but but still we perceive something very special, which is unmoving, steady balance. And this is there's a similarity. I just wanted to bring it as an echo.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's a decent metaphor. We can apply it as well at times. Right now, I want us to just meet it without any metaphor, analogy. Just, is there a palpable vibration of your presence?
Father, this palpable vibration of the presence is in the body, but also beyond.
No, wait. Don't rush. We'll come to the body in a moment.
Yes, it's a question.
Yeah, let's wait. Let's wait on that. First, let's come to the insight into the vibration itself.
Father, when we are not taking any effort, simply we just be, and there is no thinking, nothing, then that thing is very palpable. That there is no effort on our part. Simply we are just being.
Exactly.
Yes.
It is very palpable, you say.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So it is very palpable when you are empty, when you're just being. Now,
there's no effort, nothing is there on our part.
Yes, exactly. So we may all say that we have a experience of this vibration, this presence, you see, and yet at the same time, when I ask you, is your being limited or unlimited? All of you will say it is unlimited. You see, it is unlimited, and therefore, because attention itself is limited, you cannot perceive that which is unlimited. You see, so that is why you have an experience of the tip of the iceberg. The presence sort of sends a hook, like a bait. You see, because we got so used to name and form, maybe that's why the bait is there. So that is available to us to hold on to in our heart. But where it comes from, or what is not perceivable and yet intuitively apparent, is the unlimited nature of this being. Is everyone with me? Is it? Everyone with me. And I don't want any intellectualization, just what you're seeing, just like an innocent child.
I think you also called it the toe of God. This the toe of God. I think you also called it.
The what?
Toe.
Yes.
Toenail.
Yeah, toenail. Yeah. Like you can hold on to God's toenail in the form of the holy presence, which is palpable in this way. is this true for everyone? Yes. The limitedness or the unlimited? Unlimitedness. So if, for example, many will say that I experience this vibration or presence in my heart. You see, in my heart, although it's not the biological heart or the body, you may say in the heart region, I experience such a vibration or a presence. You see, and then if I tell you that, okay, now this being whose presence you experience in your heart, is it limited or unlimited? What would you answer? I'll just mute if you want. Is it limited or unlimited? It is not limited. And
It's
yet,
unlimited.
it's unlimited, exactly.
It is
So,
limited by itself, Anantaji.
see,
It is limited by itself, but ever expanding.
it is limited by itself in the sense that, are you saying that your experience of it may seem limited, but your insight into it is actually unlimited? Is this something like what you're saying?
I don't know. I see it as limitation, but it is limitation is not like in the world. It is ever expanding. So we can say it is limitless.
Achha. So what is it expanding into?
Into itself. It's just expanding.
Okay. So if we take that also to be true, that it's ever expanding into itself alone, therefore itself is the unlimitedness nature of it. No, that which can expand into itself unlimitedly must be unlimited. Is it?
Yes.
So it's beautiful. Keep intuitively checking in this way. It's very beautiful. So you're together in this now? Yes. So at the same, so what is happening is a very strange discovery, which at the same time you say, I can experience it because it's right here. And at the same time you say, but it's unlimited. It's everywhere or nowhere. You see? So this is the absurdity of the discovery of being. And that's why I call it on the cusp. We cannot say it is manifest. We cannot say it is unmanifest, because it is like, I feel what comes close is the metaphor of the tip of the iceberg. It's sort of jutting out the vibration out of the pure holiness and the pure innocence of God itself. And it is available to us to hold on to. And what amazing grace is that? You see?
Ananta-ji?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel it's, somehow it's very easy to confuse the presence with the body sensation. It's still like this kind of problem that I cannot really feel it in a pure way. It feels always a little bit confused.
Yes, yes. So when I ask you, can you stop being? Do you find it easy to confuse it with like pain or pleasure or something in the body?
No.
And yet you can point to that which you cannot stop as the presence of being and say that is like a non-sensational sensation, no? That's why it's called the primordial vibration. Is it? So is it easy to confuse actually? Can you check and tell me again? I'd just do this with me with the innocence of a child. I say to you, just try to stop being. Don't be for a moment. What do you notice?
I have no choice.
Hmm?
But I have no choice.
Yes, but can you stop being?
No, I cannot
So
stop being.
what is that being which cannot be stopped?
Awareness.
No, wait.
Cannot say it must be even subtler than a vibration.
Yes, subtler than the subtlest vibration we encounter in the world. You see, you may encounter a very subtle, like if you come from the air conditioning, you may go to a room which is a little warmer, and the minute you put your hand out into the other space, you may find the vibration of some heat on your hand, and you may find that very subtle. But this subtlety is so much more subtle, like a million times subtler than even that subtle vibration of temperature change. Would you agree?
Yes.
And yet, can we say it is not there? It is that subtle that it is not palpable? Is it like a pure absence, like awareness would be pure nothingness, which is known purely intuitively? Am I losing everyone in this? I feel like, yes, you can see, you can tell me, we can try and make it simpler. You see, but these are very subtle grounds. Otherwise, all this talk of saguna, nirguna, God, awareness, self, being, all this will just remain conceptual. And we'll make intellectual conclusions to ourselves when we feel like that is the truth. So I want to make this a living experience for all of us.
Father,
See? Yeah.
you know, so the word comes that, and it's not necessary, but the only word that keeps coming is essence. An essence that doesn't just belong here. It's an essence that is pervasive. It's everywhere. It doesn't have a location. It doesn't stay with me. It's not mine. Just essence.
Yeah. Essence is a good word. Now, is the essence or the taste of this essence or the sense of this essence a complete absence?
I don't understand.
It would be very strange if it was a complete absence, because then we would never call it presence.
No, yes, it's here. It's very, very present.
We must contemplate this deeply, because we call it presence, and yet pure awareness is a complete nothingness, which is known purely intuitively. Then awareness we could never call presence. You see, because it's not the presence, it's a pure absence of all that can be conceptualized or perceived. And yet, this being, or the presence of being, we call it a presence. So what is it the presence of? The essence is a beautiful word. You see, it's a beautiful word. It is the presence of this essence. What is this essence? This presence is what?
Father, this presence is the bliss.
Is the bliss? Is it bliss? No, bliss is much later. Bliss is much later. Bliss is like a feeling or a joyfulness or much later. What is in the background of you?
I can only find
this room thing is not going to work out very well, is it?
I come to the word spirit because I don't find any other word than spirit there.
Yeah.
But this is also intuitive. This is also intuitive because I don't know how I choose that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just mute everyone for a moment. So, spirit is a good word. Atma is a good word. So, it's very, very beautiful to come to this discovery that being is here, presence is here, Atma is here, spirit is here. Because otherwise I keep talking about the Sadguru presence, the Holy Spirit, the Atma, and without it being recognized, then it will just become a conceptual notion for us. So when I say you must live under the guidance of the Sadguru presence, if it only remains conceptual, then it's not going to help us, you see, because we'll keep returning to the mind. So can we take a poll where I just get a sense of how many of you feel that what I'm saying is absolutely clear to you, and how many of you feel that it's a bit up and down, and how many of you feel like no idea what's going on? Yes. No, first let's do this poll. Absolutely clear, middle somewhere, no idea. Middle path, moderation. Ah. So then we must make the question, can I stop being a very close friend? We must make this question a very close friend for ourselves. Because in this, the palpable, tangible, primordial vibration of being, which you want to rely on as the Holy Spirit within you, the Sadguru presence within you, as well as the unlimited nature of the being, which takes birth within awareness, which is beyond limited, unlimited being and not being. The whole iceberg will become apparent to you, the tip of it, as well as the what is hidden under the surface of perception. So we must become a little devoted to this question, because even the discovery of awareness happens only in the light of the Sadguru's presence. So we must resist the temptation to jump into the absolute, because many times we may be conceptually fooling ourselves using some dark empty space of perception, because it is not possible for us to recognize the absolute except in the Sadguru's light, in the light of the Holy Spirit. You were asking?
Yeah, at some point you said that it was 1,000,000 times more subtle.
Million times more subtle than even the vibration of heat or temperature change.
Yes. So you were referring to the awareness?
No, the presence of being.
To the presence of being.
What you said that you experience it in your heart. What is that experience? Say, what is that?
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that it's 1,000,000 times more subtle than.
You would not have said that.
Yeah, than a sensation.
What would you have said? It's as tangible as a sensation of the body, like that, or?
Well,
don't have to worry about the word million. That is not that important. But it's way subtler, isn't it?
It's subtler, but it's still a vibration felt in the heart.
Yeah.
Well, this is where the focus is mainly.
Yes. Yeah. And even to call it vibration is just because we have to use a word. It's not really like vibration like that. It's just so you run out of words then. It's just. But why do I feel like I've lost everyone in this room? He's been speaking about this for quite some time.
It's true that.
But it's okay. It's okay. If you have to start fresh like that, let's do that. So maybe I've just been presuming many things, and we can just relook at all of this. So when I say to you, or when you heard the instruction to stay with the sense I am, did you hear it like Adrian was saying earlier? Did you all hear it as just remain open and empty, don't identify? Yeah. Is this true like that? Because I feel like many of you heard it constructively, like to stay with the sense of being with your attention. None of you heard it like that.
There is attention is used to some extent, right? I am is not recognized with attention, but there is a diversion of the attention, which is not used for awareness, right?
Exactly. So when the instruction is given to stay with the sense of being, many times when the masters have said it, and I'm not a fan of using attention so much, so that's why I don't share that instruction so much. But many of the masters have referred to it as to place your attention in the subtlest primordial vibration of being, just in the way that another master may say, you must keep your attention on a mantra or on your breath or something like that, to try and control your attention from going to the mind so much. You see, so it's a method to keep our attention fixated on that constant vibration rather than it going to the thoughts. Yeah, and I'll unmute.
It is quite delicate. It is quite delicate because we may stay focused on something unconsciously with a kind of focused attention, holding something. And I guess that's why Guruji gave us the invitation to make to leave, to drop, and not to hold. Because when the me wants to hold, he creates a kind of thought unconsciously, a kind of even sensation. So that is the tricky thing on that point.
No,
That's
okay.
how it feels for me.
Very, very good, very well put. But I would say that if, and this is probably my reference to Maharaj also speaking, that if we feel that we are very distracted and it seems natural for us to somehow give our attention the anchor of the sense of presence, then it is a very beautiful practice. And Guruji has also spoken about it. At one point, he was advising everyone to spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes every day just holding on to the sense of presence, the sense of being. But you're absolutely right that the invitation and to be open and empty and to be in the unborn is to completely let go of everything that all attempts to keep the attention on anything at all. Absolutely right about that. So, but it's very important to recognize that this palpable being, presence of being is here. You see, so many times I say we must not throw the baby out with the bathwater because this is a very important discovery that God's presence is tangibly, palpably here.
Father,
Yeah.
can we see clearly this presence? I mean, it is here and it's not the body sensations. No, it's like a vibration, but it's beyond the body also.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's why most of the Hindu mantras, they start with Om. So Om is a representation of that vibration, which is not just beyond the body, but it's beyond the manifest worlds or the manifest earth.
Father, may I ask? Many times I hear this Om. And I hear it clear with my ears. I mean, I don't know with my ears, but I can hear it like a sound, And for a long time, I thought that I was imagining, or maybe it was something from the neighbors or something. But
yes. Many have had this experience that as they go deeper within, many of you will hear the subtle vibratory sound of Om. Many of you may experience it as a light, which is very different from the world's light. So yes, it's completely fine as long as we don't get attached to any of the experiences by themselves. The audio and the sight, the visual, we're not attached to any of that. Then we get deeper and deeper in the primordial itself, which is again, for the want of a better word, both manifest and unmanifest. You see, it's at the cusp of it.
Father, it is like
Who has not come yet? The ones who have not come yet can come.
So if I can. Oh,
Yeah. Whoever has not come yet can start.
Father, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, go ahead, my dear. Georgie, you can go first, and Moni
okay.
can go.
Okay. I think this conversation brought more questions than insight here.
Yes, very good, very good. More confused than you ever were.
Yeah. Like one of the things when you were asking about the presence, and Adrian said something like just not following thought, and you said, but no, that's the absolute. And I'm
No,
asking,
not just the absolute, but it's very beautiful because the presence of your being, the unlimited nature of this presence, as well as that which is beyond being and not being, all of them are apparent to you as you're open and empty.
okay. And then, okay. But then also you said something like we shouldn't.
Is the okay an affirmation of this, or is it like a doubt about this, or let's look together at that?
No, I see what I see what you're saying, but I think I need to keep asking to like not. Yeah, because you said let's not try to go straight to awareness or something, to the absolute at one point or something like this, because it is interpreted here as it activates the mind, of course. So it's interpreted as yeah, like we're skipping a step or something. But haven't you always told us to be open and empty?
So in the open and empty, if you feel like, oh, there's no being, it is just the absolute, then I would question that open and emptiness. No, that's what I'm saying, that don't feel like you can skip over the being, because the primordial vibration, its unlimited nature, and the absolute all are apparent to us at the same time. I don't see how we can have just one without the other.
Okay, can I look?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So let's just be fresh, open. Don't worry about any confusion, all of that. Just be open. Now, are you here?
Yeah.
Now that I amness, would you say is the absolute absence of everything, or is there a presence?
There is a presence.
Yes, so that presence is the presence of being. Now, where is that presence experienced? I know it is not within the body, but is there a particular center that you could say it is, or it's how is it experienced?
No.
Or if I was to say, where does it seem to arise from? Is there a particular area which seems to be at the core of it?
No, sometimes I go like this. I don't know. I go like
Yeah.
that.
That is the common experience which Bhagavan shared with us, that he would say that in the heart, not the physical heart, but the spiritual heart, that is the core of where this vibration seems to emanate from. You see, so it is not within the body, and yet many, like in the sharing of satsang, you've seen with so many masters, the hand naturally goes to the heart region. We just feel like there's a very, very pure pulsating core or vibration over there. But that is not as important, as long as you can see that uh, it is. So this experience that you have, is it the experience of something manifest or unmanifest?
It's not manifest. And that is another question that came up. When you talk about vibration, it makes...
Yeah. So, so when you said that sometimes it feels like something here, what is that?
I don't know what it is. I just go like this.
Yes. So do you experience something there, or what is it?
No, I don't. No. It's what you call intuitive. I don't know.
Yeah. So you would say that your being is a purely unlimited nothingness, or is there the subtlest somethingness about it?
I don't know if it's unlimited.
If it is unlimited or limited?
I don't know that it's unlimited. You just said
You
you're
don't
saying
know
that it's
whether it's
unlimited,
unlimited.
but I don't know if it's unlimited.
But then you are saying that you are experiencing it in a manifest way.
No, I'm not. Okay, but isn't that an inference if I say it's unlimited just because
Yes. It
I
is
feel
an
like I'm
inference, but
inferring if...
something, it is giving a clue, no? It is giving a clue to us where to look. So on one hand, if we are able to say that I can't say that it's unlimited, but it's here, you
Yeah.
see, but anything that is noticed or recognized as limited in a particular here-ness, we call that manifest, isn't it? Like the unmanifest cannot be localized in any way.
Okay, so because there is a here-ness, there is a sort of
Yes,
a
where
manifest aspect. Is that what
what
you
is
said?
this? Yes, what is this here-ness? How is it experienced?
It's a good question. Because you asked that before at the beginning, and I couldn't say how it is experienced.
Yes. What changes when we wake up? How do you know that you're awake now? Let's leave what changes when we wake up.
Mhm.
Is it purely perception?
No.
So what is that which is independent of perception, which shows you that you're awake?
I am.
Yes, what is that I am?
It's I. But I cannot
Yes,
refer to it as something.
slowly. So that I is there even in sleep state? You see? The I is there in sleep state. You notice the change from sleep to waking. What is the most primal change that you notice that you could say, Even if the world is not there, this is there, and therefore I notice that I'm awake and not asleep. The I is unchanging throughout states, sleep or waking, it doesn't matter. So what is the primal change that happens that we can call waking state came or wakefulness came? How are you awake now?
I'm here.
Yes. How do you know? In what way are you here? Is it body?
No, I know because it is I who is here, and that I knows.
Yes. So try to link it with the question that I is always here and that I always knows it's here, whether it is sleep state or waking state. But how do you know that you are awake?
How do I know that I'm awake?
Is there a difference in the two questions? How do you know that you are aware versus how do you know that you are awake? It's just one alphabet change, but it's a huge difference in the question.
I don't know what happens during sleep.
Yes, but right now, how do you know that you are awake? Suppose the lights went out, all the sound went. At which point would you say you are asleep?
I wouldn't,
Exactly, because what?
because I wouldn't be conscious.
Yeah, so what is that? How
What
do you
is
know
what?
that you're conscious? How do you know that you are conscious versus aware? This is
Oh,
beautiful. Okay? This is very,
see,
very
these
nice.
types of questions, I know that they are for insight, but usually they just, like, they really trigger
Yeah.
the mind.
Let's not trigger it now. This is
I
important.
know. No, I'm with you.
Okay.
Can you ask again?
Yes, my dear, you said something very beautiful, and I was hoping you would get to this point. You said, because I am conscious, you see, and to be conscious is qualitatively different from being aware. What is that difference? How do you mean conscious versus aware? Are you using it interchangeably?
These are one of the things that I don't understand. What do you mean? I don't know the difference between aware and conscious.
How you said very naturally that you are conscious.
Yes, I'm
Could you have
conscious.
also said, because I'm aware? I know
Okay.
I'm awake because I'm aware.
Okay.
Is it the same
Okay.
thing?
No, it's not.
That we're getting there. We're getting there. It's very good. So what is the distinction? Qualitative as it may be, it's a very beautiful discovery.
So you say this consciousness is my being.
Yes. Consciousness is your being. Consciousness is
Okay.
God. That's why the sages have said, no? That even God takes birth within myself.
And in this, there has to be a relationship with the world, doesn't there?
We come to that. We come to that later. But what is this consciousness?
Okay.
Anantaji, sorry, I
Yes,
don't want to
Ananta.
interrupt. You guys finish the conversation. I'll jump in later. Go ahead.
What did you say, Father?
I was saying that we'll come to the connection or the relationship of consciousness and the world later, at a later point. Let's
Okay.
first, you're discovering, unraveling something very beautiful, which came out of you very naturally because you said, I'm conscious. Which is not the same as saying, I'm aware.
No.
So what is that determining distinction?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
And that consciousness
Yeah.
is the only being, the true being.
Father, the question still remains, why why not what Adrian said about just being open and empty? Why not? Is that skipping a step? Because that's
No,
how
no,
I
no.
understood it.
Not at all meant that I would not go on for years about being open and empty if I felt like that was skipping a step. I only meant that as you're open and empty, it is impossible that we only recognize awareness and not consciousness.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to say.
Because if I'm open and empty,
Yeah. Are you aware that you are conscious as well? Or your being is here, your presence is here?
okay, yes.
Yes. And would you say that even that being is not the most primal, like the awareness is independent even of this being or consciousness? Or if I was to push a little further and say, if I was to force you to answer, which one of these rests on the other and which is independent?
Which one does? I lost audio. Which one?
Which one rests on the other, or the other is the substratum for which one, and which one is independent of the presence or absence of which one?
Yeah, consciousness comes after.
And you see that intuitively you know that without awareness, there can be no consciousness.
Yes.
And yet, without consciousness, you are still aware. So awareness is independent of being and not being. But in the waking state, as you're open and empty, you can never say that, oh, I recognize awareness, but what consciousness? That is just not possible.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But, yeah, this is what I was saying.
Okay.
We are
Because
exploring some subtle areas today.
yes, because many times I have heard you or Guruji or others talk about like don't try to go straight to the absolute or something like this, and there are moments in contemplation without you being there where I can't tell the difference. Or
Yeah, it's good to see this because that is just so that we avoid a mind trick of trying to create a visualization of some limbo type dark empty space and trying to get you to conclude that that is awareness, which is just basically a visualization.
mm-hmm.
Anantaji, can I ask a question in just because you said it is beautiful when you say because I am conscious, and here I kind of need a bit more clarification. What is happening to me that I'm saying I am conscious? Because to me, if I need to put it in to formulate it, I'm doing what you asked us to do. I'm holding myself, even if it's I'm closed eyes and nothing happens. I'm aware that I am here. I am kind of holding myself consciously. This is the happening of becoming conscious. Is it right?
In a sense, the holding is a very strong word, but
yeah.
Just what shows you that, what do you recognize, what do you notice on the basis of which you can say that I am awake, even if you were in a Turiya state of meditation where all your senses were reporting nothing. In the deepest meditative state, where even the body sensation is not experienced. we can still notice that I am awake.
Yes.
I am conscious. You see? So what is that wakefulness or consciousness? As opposed to that I, which is independent of even Turiya state or sleep state. It is there unchanged, untouched, no matter what state of experience you're having. You see? So what is that conscious? I am conscious, I am awake. Otherwise, nobody would value such a great meditator, no? It's just like, oh, you just went to sleep. I say, no, no, no. The world vanished. You see, the world vanished, but I was still awake. You see? All sensations, even breath vanished. But I was still awake. You call that the greatest meditator in some sense. You see? What is so great about that? Because consciousness is still there. You see, what is that consciousness? That is the exploration. Very good. Very good.
Father,
Yeah.
I feel that I'm doing something wrong or something because I feel like minding.
Yeah. Yes, okay. You must not rush at all, my dear. What happens in your case is that if you feel that you're not getting something or something is this thing, you try to rush to make sure you have it because maybe some insecurity or something may be there about spirituality. So just become fully innocent like a child first, and don't try to get the answer very quickly because this exploration is very beautiful actually. The exploration is very beautiful, but I've sensed that what happens with you sometimes is that you don't want to explore because it's a bit scary. You want to come to the answer fast. Is it like this, or what is happening for you?
Yeah, I feel that I don't know how to explore maybe, or
When
I started involved in the exploration or something.
so when I was having that conversation with Georgie, were you able to follow?
No,
Ah, okay. Why is that?
I was like with the person thinking he's trying to be not attached to the thinking.
Give me one moment. My daughter is calling repeatedly, so I'll have to take it. I'll just be back, everyone. My daughter seems to be unwell, so I'll just check on her.